day I was doing a coaching Q&A with my team strength running coaching group, and one of my athletes asked me, I've had to miss 2 days because of an injury. I'm all set after those 2 days, I'm healthy, ready to run, but how should I change my training now that I get back into running? This is a great question. This runner has missed 2 days of running. How does she get back into her training? And I found myself going on this kind of long rant about how you modify your comeback to running and how you return to running after an injury, depending on the amount of time that you have missed. So obviously 2 days is not a lot of time, and I talked about that. I also talked about what happens if you miss a week of training, and then also if you miss 2 weeks of training. Very common scenarios to runners. You might miss a couple days if you have a work assignment, family obligation, or just a niggle that you're unsure of running on it. So should you make any adjustments, or should you just jump back into your training plan? And then of course, a lot of runners will take a week off after a goal race or because of an injury, and then 2 weeks off with a more serious injury, or maybe after a really long race. But if we're talking about taking 2 weeks or a week or just a couple days off from running, how do we get back into our training? What should we be thinking about? So let's talk about how you come back to your running after just a couple days off. Well, in this example, this is a pretty easy one. You don't really have to change your training too much. With 2 days off from running, if you had planned on running those 2 days and you missed them, how should you get back into things? Well, I would say just jump back into your training plan. If you've only missed 2 days, you have not missed enough time that your body is undergoing any kind of detraining effect. You have not lost anything in 2 days. So you can just get right back into running, provided that you can do so healthfully and without any pain. But what if you miss a week? Now, a week is more time. A week will actually start to have some detraining effect on your body, and you will feel a little bit uncoordinated, clunky, or like you haven't run in a long time, because it has been a week. You just feel like you don't have your legs underneath you anymore. And so when you're coming back to running after missing a week, it is more important to almost do like a reverse taper. Instead of tapering down towards your goal race so that you're rested, we're going to taper back up to your normal training level. And so with a week off, I like to take about 1 week of time to ramp back up to our normal training volume. So let's just say that you're someone who's very comfortable running about 30 miles per week. You're running 30 miles per week, then you take a week off. Now you're ready to get back into running again. Should you go for that 30-mile week, or should there be some sort of easier week to help make that transition more possible and easier for you to manage? Well, I definitely think that first week back to running should be a little bit easier. You should maybe run about 20 or 25 miles, and it should kind of look like a slow ramp up to that 30 miles per week range. The first run back should be very easy, short, just a run to see how you feel, how your legs respond to running again. And then as you get back into it over that week, you can start running a little bit more, and you can start incorporating other aspects of training into that week besides just easy running. So once you've got in one short, easy run, maybe now you can try adding some easy strides after the next run. And then after that, you can try running 2 days in a row. Then you can try running a slightly longer run. And we're always adding or including something new into our week back, like running 2 days in a row, running strides after our easy run, or maybe doing a long run, a couple miles longer than the next longest run. And this is almost like a testing approach. We're going to test to see how our body responds to these new training stresses. And provided you're feeling good, provided that you are feeling no pain whatsoever, you can keep on adding those new complexities to your training. Things like strides, things like your first easier workout back. So lots of things to test, lots of things to gradually reintroduce back into your training. But after a week off, you probably only need about a week of that reintroduction back into running. But if you have missed more than a week, if you've missed about 2 weeks, then we are going to have to take this reverse taper to the next level. Here, it's probably best to take about 2 weeks to get back up to your normal level of training. And just like before, we are going to incorporate the same type of testing approach to our running. First, we're going to test an easy run back, maybe a short run of 3 or 4 miles, 5 to 8 kilometers, something along those lines. Then you can test running back-to-back days, running strides, running a short, easier workout, maybe like a fartlek workout, and then doing a long run. Just seeing how your body responds, how it reacts to these new training stresses, and if everything's good, you can keep moving along in the process. Now, if at any point you do re-experience pain or your injury starts to flare up again, then it's time to take things back a little bit and then restart that testing approach. And as your body gets stronger, as you get a little bit more comfortable running 2 days in a row and running longer runs and adding strides, as your body adjusts to all those new training stresses, you will gradually be able to do more and more. And ultimately, you'll get back to that new mileage level that you had been at before you got hurt. Now, of course, this is a pretty simplified version of how you get back into running after an injury. Of course, it depends on the injury. It depends on how much time you missed, but I hope this really gave you a general idea of this testing approach and how you can come back to running after missing a variety of different amounts of time that you've missed from your running. And of course, we always want to be following our physical therapist's guidelines when we are getting back into running and treating an injury. So if you have seen a PT, continue with those exercises. I'm sure your physical therapist or your physio has given you some sort of exercise routine or workout or treatment protocol so that you can do this at home. You can be at home treating your injury. And generally speaking, if you can do some sort of body weight strength training that doesn't cause any pain, you're going to be able to return to running much faster. So I hope you're not injured, but if you are, I hope you stay injured for a very short amount of time and you are able to get back into your running as soon as possible. But I do want to open this up for questions. If you are injured or you're not sure if you're injured, you might be, and you're missing time from running, let me know in the comments if you're struggling and I'll see if I can help, because injuries are obviously the worst for runners, and if we can keep you healthy, we can keep you running more consistently, and that's going to make you a better runner.